D. D is for discharge, dissing the charge. We've got multiple connotations here. What we're intending when we say DCFO, discharge, is letting go of the charge, letting it leave your body, letting it be recycled by the supportive body's presence. Specifically, I'm meaning the earth, source. We're giving up the charge to the infinite recycling center of the earth. The earth doesn't have a limit of how much energy, emotion it can recycle for us. Sure, we're stressing it out and straining it in other ways, but in terms of pure life force energy, it's infinite. So we're dissing the charge. We're discharging into the earth through our feet, through our root, through laying on the earth, through just intending, sending energy to the earth. And we're giving it up to God. We are letting energy move upwards to be fully recycled. Again, an infinite recycling center exists there for us. Center of the universe, source, God, heaven, whatever words you want to use that make you feel tapped in and turned on to an infinite point of existence that is full of fresh life force for you and that is moving and grooving and can slurp up what doesn't belong in your body. And not much belongs in your body. It's designed as this channel, this energy highway for moving energy between that source point and earth. That's what we're doing here. And whatever is going wrong in your life, it's because discharge isn't happening enough and it's clunking up your circuitry. So when I said there's multiple connotations going on here, it's like discharge, we're dissing the charge. But then I went to say, we're not dissing it like putting it down, like, someone on the playground disses you and they're putting you down, they're like criticizing you, making fun of you. That's one connotation. And that connotation has been going on through history, which is why we don't get enough discharge, okay? But there's something in there where it's, okay, you're getting put down, but that is what we're doing. We're putting it down. We are taking anything that we would take personally, that would clunk up our system, cause us to take anything personally, to hold on to anything. We're putting it all down. One little bit at a time, but also all of it. So somewhere in history, to me, it's not important to know the origination and who did what and exactly how it's been going, because the general story is that we have been discouraged, extremely discouraged, from discharging as much as we need to. And we really need to. And in our ideal functioning, we don't have to think about it much because it's just our design. We would just be doing it. It is our nature, but our nature has been disturbed because along the way we got dissed. And I'm saying we as a human species, but also we as individuals this lifetime. This probably happened for you if you're here, where you got put down, criticized, reprimanded, dismissed, discouraged, rejected, I'm feeling like the flicked away, for being emotional, for expressing emotion, for moving emotional charge, which is just energy in motion. It's meant to be in motion. It's not meant to be held in our system, vibrating, asking for release, for recycle. Instead, it gets held, it gets stagnant, it gets dense. And then we get dense. We feel heavy. Our vibration lowers because there's so much density in our field, which means we're so much more prone to behaving fear-based, to judging, and then we're so much more susceptible to the pain of being judged and all the accumulations of that. And so it's this progressive thing that has occurred in human history where the intelligence of feeling and sensing, which is the faculties, the natural capacity in us that would lead us to discharge without having to think about it, without having to consciously lean in, those have been really reprimanded, shut down, dismissed, exiled, like reprimanded to the point of extreme punishment, where like people have been killed for exhibiting a natural, authentic, fully expressed relationship with discharge, with moving energy. It became this lunacy, hysterics, crazy, something people got locked up for. We, as a culture, the over culture, judged and wrapped it in fear. Wrapped our ability to move big energy and to feel safe with ourselves doing so, wrapped it in fear, disgust, shame. So now we have a bunch of work to do. We got to discharge all of that on top of what would just be naturally discharging in terms of us just being alive and being mostly made of water, being very absorbent to charge. We're absorbent to charge because we're part of the natural ecosystem of moving charge through the environment, through the field, which would mean it would be constantly recycling, constantly renewing and refreshing itself. And it's one way that we communicate with ease with the whole environment and not just our immediate surroundings, but everywhere. Quantum reality is very real and our connection to everything is very real, but it's been demented, distorted, diseased because the circuitry has gotten all fucked up. And it's because there's been clumps of energy blocking the pathways that would allow for healthy, active circulation. We're going to get to circulation in the next video, but we discharge to enable the level of circulation that allows us to feel like light and happy and joyful no matter what we're facing, even if some of the energy moving through us is shame or disgust or fear or fury. We feel safe with ourselves because we have this relationship with circulation where we know it doesn't stay in our bodies and define us. It doesn't weigh us down because we are so good at discharging. So take a deep breath with me. And then exhale. Unsatisfying, right? I had to do an extra exhale there. But most people, if you watch them breathing, even if they take a deep inhale, it's just a small little exhale. I've worked with lots of people and had to really encourage people to really focus on the exhale. I'm so glad in the past 15 years that I've been working with myself on these subjects, that I've seen, these subjects explode on the internet, that they're becoming more and more mainstream. This is happening. The discharge and circulation is taking over. This is a win-win reality. Energy speaks energy. Mystery speaks minergy. Mystery speaks mystery. And they win. Like that wins because it is the natural law. It's the natural balance of all things. We are going to end up in a win-win reality. But that's not what most of us are experiencing right now, is it? So we are consciously leaning in to discharge, to allow better circulation. And we're using then discharge and circulation, self-stimulating, like self-engagement, practicing, playing with discharge and circulation. We lean in there, and then we also use discharge and circulation to keep acclimatizing to the openness that happens in the pathways, to the floods of energy, to work with the feelings that surface that have been stuck in our bodies, in our brains, in our realities. We use discharge and circulation to acclimatize to the big sensation of being fully alive, of being flexible and open, of being higher and higher frequency. High frequency means non-judgmental, to sum it up. And we're going to get to that with flexibility and openness, which will come in your videos tomorrow. If I still have this set up the same way that I originally intended. But they're coming tomorrow or in the next few days. Because we're going through DCFO. And it's in this order because water, which rhymes with D, this conversation of flowing energy through our systems, allowing it to fully flow. Not just a little bit, but a lot, all the way. Where we are no longer these storage units for stuck stuff, but we are letting go. We are dissing the charge. We're recognizing the way that charge and flow and being watery, letting our feeling and sensing faculties guide us intuitively, instinctually, impulsively, guide us to let go, where that's been put down. That has been locked up in so many ways. And I guarantee you feel that locked upness in your body. You are worthy of being free. And freedom requires you to let go what's been locked up. Water is the first element in esoteric law, but it's been locked up, put in the closet, put in the grave, put in the garbage. It's been put anywhere that isn't front and center focus, because that served some confused, power-hungry, manipulatively controlling entity, person, group, wherever it started. It has perpetuated. This has continued. The thing that enabled that person, those people, the culture to turn not nice, kind of evil, taking the power away from the people, discouraging them to be in their own power. We are talking, you have to discharge. You have to actively, ongoing through your days, discharge to be in your power. So that was discouraged at some point. The thing that enabled those people to be, let's just say, mean like that, power hungry like that, is that their system was clunked up, that they inherited and experienced stagnation and short-circuiting in their system. That's the only thing. We are all have this baseline same design, that if we're discharging enough, we are our soul selves. We are our source selves. And then there is no separation, and we are all one, and we are all this miraculous, juicy, yummy, win-win energy reality. But we know, looking around this earth, that we've come a pretty far cry from that yummy, juicy, win-win reality. And so how do we get it back on earth? We got to access it in ourselves. We got to feel the win-win. We got to let the elements, the energy, rebalance in our own system. Not only do we then become a signal, a beacon, a reminder, a permission slip, but we're also actually contributing that frequency. And that frequency will overcome the density. This conversation meets, responds to answers, explains all of the complications of our current reality. And that can feel really, really, really complex. So I just took this deep breath back here, because we're here to keep it kind of simple. So let's inhale again. This time exhale as much as you can, as long as you can. I want you to give yourself a few of those every day. I dare you to give yourself 3 really deep breaths with really long exhales every day before you get out of bed. So discharge. If we had a game controller for the video game that we are playing right now on Earth, the D button, discharge, would be that button that you press the most. There's always a button that's like the run or the jump that you press the most, you know? And then there's the other buttons that do really cool things, but you don't need to use them as much. Right now, we got to use that D button as much as we can, because it fits everywhere in our life. No matter what we're doing, we can be breathing like that. And conscious that we're giving the energy to the earth, to source, to be recycled. There are endless ways to discharge, and it becomes really entertaining when you let yourself realize that that is actually your priority. Even among all the other priorities, discharging energy is your priority of priorities, because you're bringing back online your intuitive, instinctual, impulsive intelligence that would just be doing it automatically. And as we discharge and that comes back online, your body brain reminders to discharge, your self leading yourself into that is just going to come and happen more and more easily, more and more fluidly, where you don't have to think about it, and where it doesn't feel like leaning in through cement. You know, it feels like cement because it's been so discouraged and dismissed and punished in our culture and our reality for a really long time. And that's what's left us fucked, is that D gets left to the end. It's not prioritized when it is what allows for flow, for ease, for connection, and for the manifestation of our deep, heartfelt desire for win-win reality. That is a conversation of flexibility. Discharge is your best friend. And again, there are so many ways. You're already doing it in a bunch of ways, or else you'd probably be too fucked to be watching this video. And so lean in to your favorite ways. Do it a little bit more. Say yes when ideas of discharge cross your mind. I dare you, but I mostly beg you, maybe beg, I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm making a request. I'm not gonna chase you down and punish you if you don't do it. But you may feel the repercussions. You probably definitely will feel the repercussions if you don't come more and more into yes, yes, yes relationship with the ideas that cross your mind or the invitations that cross your path to discharge. Hey, you want to come to this yoga class? I used to sit in my room naked, smoking pot, drawing and writing sad, angry poetry, and my roommates would come really regularly and be like, Kelsey, you want to come to yoga? I was always a no, because my baseline was rigidity and I was just trying to get by. I was surviving, and I had I wasn't conscious that I was doing this, but I can see that I was just like holding on. And I was like, oh no, I can't move more energy than this. Like, I was just moving energy mostly through my head, through the poetry. I was really disconnected from my body. My body was very rigid. There was so much sadness and anger stuck in there. So I can see how I was really scared to move the energy. So glad that I've come a long way in 15 years. And it's really through bite-sized investments in discharge. Yes, I started going to yoga classes, and I love a good, hour, 2 hour, or weekend retreat, etc. But what's really made the difference is bite-sized investments, little practices that allow discharge to be scattered through my day. So I'm never ever waiting for that class. I'm never ever pushing discharge into the future. I am never dismissing discharge as something that I don't have time for or that doesn't fit. It frickin' fits everywhere. And that is my main message, is that discharge is our priority. Discharge is our priority of priorities, and it fits everywhere. And there are endless options and opportunities to consciously lean into discharge. Our job is to say yes, and to find ourselves such cute humans when we're saying no. Oh, that makes sense because you've come through this history of people having to say no so that they didn't get killed or exiled or punished or etc., etc. And this lifetime, it's made sense even that I've been so resistant to discharge because my survival relied on me blending in with my family, who are all, rigid, narcissistically conditioned products of patriarchy and colonial impact, who were refusing discharge to just, hang on and get by and be as much like everybody else to belong, which means storing a bunch of stuff, holding a bunch of emotion back, and really being constipated. It is time to discharge the constipation, and we are doing it. Discharge is your best friend. Discharge is the button you want to let yourself just rip on. It's going to carry you through. It's going to meet you in every moment that feels impossible. What's your answer when something feels impossible? Discharge. The thing that just crossed your mind as the option to discharge, you do it. You say yes, yes, yes. And the more we lubricate our system with the yes, yes, yes of leaning into flow, of allowing the flow, it dissolves the resistance. The easier it becomes to say yes, to do the bite-sized discharge. And the bite-sized discharge carries us into the beauty of big experiences, of stabilized, secure, safe discharge, like the kind that happens in ceremonies or supported environments or tower moments where something big happens and it strikes a chord in you that lets something deep and stuck and big flow through, but you feel safe with yourself. You feel, wow, thank you. Wow, I have the skills. I feel supported. I feel safe with myself to let this energy go. And I know where it's going. I don't have to send it at anyone or anything to have a reason, a rationalized reason to let it go. I just always have permission in my existence of being this creature of authentic energy mastery. I have this permission to let energy flow, to let it all go. I don't have to use this energy to define myself in order to belong. I belong here, doing this. See you in the next video for circulation, where this conversation continues.